Beloved chosen one, listen carefully. Heaven has silenced every other voice so that this one can reach you. This is not another passing word or a coincidence in your scroll. It is a divine interruption. You are standing on sacred ground, at the threshold between what was and what will be. Every event in your life, every heartbreak, every moment that felt like the end, has been preparation for this very encounter. You may not realize it, but heaven has been orchestrating your steps, even through confusion. The delay was divine. The disappointment was redirection. Every door that closed, every plan that failed it, all formed the path that led you here. You are one decision away from rewriting your story. This is the final pause before destiny. You feel it deep within, don't you? That quiet stirring that refuses to be silenced. The sense that there is more to your life than what you've seen. That knowing that you were never meant to blend into the background. You are different for a reason. The battles you faced were never meant to break you. They were meant to reveal the strength inside you. Heaven has kept you hidden until now because the timing had to align perfectly with your calling. And now, the call has come again. The same gentle voice that once comforted you in your darkest hour now whispers, "Rise." It's not yelling. It doesn't need to. When heaven speaks, the soul already knows it's time to answer. Don't let fear steal this moment. You've survived too much to turn back now. The shadows that chased you only proved how bright your light truly is. The enemy tried to silence you because he saw what you could become before you did. But he cannot stop what heaven has ordained. This is your moment of divine awareness, the instant where heaven stretches out its hand and says, "Now, it is not too late. You have not missed your moment. You have simply arrived at the gate of transformation." Every chosen one must face it, the point where obedience costs comfort, but opens destiny. There will always be a voice telling you to wait, to think, to hesitate. But there is another voice, older and deeper, saying, "Trust me." You know which voice is God's, because it brings peace even in uncertainty. The ancient words recorded in the scroll of Exodus, chapter 14, verse 14, declare, "The Lord will fight for you. You need only to be still." That is not a suggestion, it is a revelation. You have fought long enough in your own strength. Now, heaven is saying, "Stop striving. Let me." Stillness is not inactivity, it is surrender. It is the point where you trade control for divine alignment. It is where you stop explaining, stop defending, stop overthinking, and simply obey. Because obedience is the doorway to miracles. The reason heaven tells you to pause before destiny is not to delay you, but to position you. If you moved too soon, you would have entered battles unprepared. But now, heaven has equipped you in silence. Every scar is armor. Every tear is oil for your anointing. Every rejection has refined you into someone unstoppable. You may have been hidden, but you were never forgotten. The hidden season was heaven's way of protecting the seed of your purpose from premature exposure. Now that it's grown strong enough to withstand the storm, God is saying, "Step forward, chosen one." This is your preparation to manifestation moment. Heaven is waiting for your yes. And once you give it, everything shifts. The angels that have walked with you in silence are already preparing the next season of your life. But God will not force you, He invites you. He gives you the choice to surrender fully, or to keep delaying the inevitable. Don't let fear convince you that surrender is loss. It is not. Surrender is victory disguised as humility. When you finally lay everything down, your fear, your pride, your doubt, God picks it up and rebuilds it into something eternal. You are not just hearing this message you were meant to. The fact that these words reached you proves that heaven is not finished with you yet. This is divine timing. This is mercy extended one more time. You are not alone. The same God who called Moses at the burning bush is calling you now. The same God who parted the sea can part the confusion around your purpose. Take this pause seriously. It's not just another moment, it's the moment. Heaven has placed you here for a decision that will echo through eternity. If this message stirs something inside your spirit, don't scroll away. Like, share, and subscribe so this word can awaken others standing at their own sacred threshold. And as a prophetic act, comment the number 777 below, heaven's number of completion and divine alignment, to declare that you choose to listen, to pause, and to let God fight for you. This is your final pause before destiny. Heaven is ready. Are you? There is a moment when time itself seems to hold its breath, when every sound around you fades, and all that remains is a whisper that pierces deeper than thunder. Chosen one. This is that moment. Heaven has silenced the noise of the world so you can finally hear the voice that has been calling your name since the beginning. It is not coincidence that you are here. This is divine pursuit. You have been surrounded by distractions, people's opinions, doubts, deadlines, the endless noise of expectation. But somewhere within all of that, a softer sound has been speaking. Come back. It's not the voice of condemnation. It's the voice of love that refuses to give up on you. The voice that calls you not by what you've done, but by who you are chosen, set apart, and seen. This is not the first time heaven has tried to reach you. You've heard it before in the quiet moments when you couldn't explain why your heart felt heavy for no reason. You felt it in the tears that came during songs that spoke about surrender. You brushed it off, thinking it was emotion. But that wasn't emotion. That was revelation trying to break through. There are certain seasons when God will stop everything around you just to make sure you hear Him. That's what this is. A divine pause. A holy interruption. Because there are decisions you are about to make that will shape generations. And heaven refuses to let you move in confusion. The whisper that stopped time doesn't come with pressure or panic. It comes with peace. It doesn't scream. It speaks softly because it knows authority doesn't need volume. That's how you know it's divine. The enemy shouts. The Spirit whispers. And right now, heaven is whispering truth to your soul. You've been asking, Lord, just tell me what to do. And heaven responds, I already am. The problem is not that God isn't speaking, it's that the noise has been too loud. The doubts, the comparisons, the overthinking, they've all been stealing your clarity. But in this moment, heaven has muted every competing voice so that the only sound left is His. You don't need to chase a sign. The whisper is enough. You don't need to see the full path. The instruction for the next step is already within you. Divine direction rarely arrives in thunder. It comes in stillness. Because if you can trust the whisper, you can be trusted with the storm. You may wonder, why does God whisper? Because He is close. He doesn't need to shout across distance. He speaks from within. That whisper you feel is not external, it's eternal. It is the same breath that formed creation. now moving gently through your spirit. You are not abandoned. You are being awakened. The apostle reminds us in his writing in John, chapter 10, verse 27, "My sheep hear my voice, and I know them, and they follow me." These are not words of distance, but of intimacy. God doesn't speak to the crowd, he speaks to the called. You are not lost in the noise, you are known in the silence. The whisper is heaven's way of saying, "I know you still hear me." Think back, how many times has that voice saved you from something unseen? The inner nudge that told you not to go. The quiet urge that said, "Wait." The peace that came after choosing obedience. Those moments were not intuition. They were divine protection disguised as hesitation. You've survived things you didn't even know were sent to destroy you. All because the whisper was guiding you. And yet, there is more. God is not done speaking. The whisper that stopped time carries instruction for your next chapter. It is not just telling you who you are, it is revealing who you are becoming. The voice of heaven is never random, it is always redemptive. When God speaks, he doesn't just call you out of something, he calls you into something. So listen now, not with your ears, but with your spirit. Can you sense the pull, the gentle drawing that says, "Come closer"? The whisper is reminding you that you belong here, that you were created for communion, not confusion. The world will try to convince you that silence is emptiness. But in the kingdom, silence is saturation. It is the space where heaven downloads destiny. The whisper is not small, it is sacred. And right now, God is speaking through it. You are not behind. You are right where you need to be. Chosen one. When you finally quiet everything else, you will realize that God never left you. His voice didn't disappear, it was simply waiting for your attention. What you hear in this silence will guide you through the noise of the next season. Do not dismiss it. Do not rush it. This whisper carries the weight of eternity. Let it settle deep in your soul. Let every distraction fade. The same voice that spoke light into darkness is now speaking destiny into you. Heaven has stopped time so that you could hear it clearly. This is the whisper that changes everything. There is a sacred tension in the air. Chosen one, the kind that only comes when heaven holds out two paths and waits for your decision. You can feel it in your chest right now, the pull between comfort and calling, between staying where it's safe and stepping where faith demands. This is not imagination. This is the crossroads of your destiny. Every chosen one must stand here at least once, the place where obedience feels risky, yet rebellion feels too costly. You can't stand in the middle forever. To delay is to decide, and heaven is waiting for your answer. The weight of this moment is not punishment, it is privilege. God trusts you enough to give you a choice that matters. Angels are watching. Hell is trembling. Because whichever road you choose will echo through eternity. You have prayed for direction. And now it has arrived not in thunder or lightning, but in conviction. The truth is, you already know what God is asking of you. He's whispered it in dreams, confirmed it through people, stirred it in your spirit again and again. You just didn't expect it to require so much faith. You thought the path of purpose would be smooth, but it's paved with surrender. It always has been. This is where destiny demands a response. And yet, as heavy as this feels, it's also holy. The choice before you isn't just about what you'll do next, it's about who you'll become next. Heaven never asks for something to take, it asks for something to transform. Think about it. Every great move of God began with a decision that made no sense to human logic. Noah built an ark before it rained. Abraham left his homeland before he had directions. Mary said yes before she understood how. The chosen are never called to comfort, they are called to courage. And now it's your turn. You feel the tension because your spirit already knows what obedience will cost. But it also knows what disobedience will steal. You can't stay in halfway faith any longer. You've come too far to turn back and too close to stop now. The same God who called you will also carry you. Heaven speaks clearly through the writings in Deuteronomy. Chapter 30, verse 19. I have set before you life and death, blessings and curses. Now choose life, so that you and your descendants may live. These words are not just ancient instruction, they are present invitation. The power to choose life is still in your hands. The question is, will you? This choice isn't just about eternity, it's about identity. Choosing life means choosing truth over convenience, purpose over popularity, peace over chaos. It means refusing to settle for what feels easy when you were created for what is eternal. Heaven has already laid the options before you. You don't need another sign, you need to move. Every delay makes the darkness bolder. The longer you linger at the crossroads, the louder the lies will become. The enemy's strategy is not always to destroy, it's to distract. If he can make you hesitate, he can make you miss timing. But not this time. This time, heaven is making sure you see clearly. There's something sacred about decisions made in faith. When you finally choose obedience, everything in heaven aligns to support you. Resources appear, doors open, peace follows. Because obedience is not loss, it's alignment. And alignment always attracts acceleration. You might feel afraid, but faith doesn't cancel fear, it overrides it. You don't need to have no fear, you just need to move anyway. God never said it would be easy. He said He would be with you. That's the difference. You're not stepping into the unknown, you're stepping into what's already known in heaven. Look at your life up to this point. Every challenge, every heartbreak, every closed door, it was all preparing you for this decision. The enemy tried to convince you that you were unworthy, but he only attacked because he saw your potential. He wouldn't fight you this hard if you weren't this close. So, beloved, as you stand here between destiny and delay, heaven leans in and waits. What will you do? If your spirit knows this word is for you, if something inside you says, I can't keep running from this, then write these words in the comments, I choose life. Write it not as a phrase, but as a declaration, because every word you speak carries spiritual authority. When you type, I choose life, you're not just engaging, you're sealing something in the spirit. You're saying, I refuse to be lukewarm. I refuse to let fear dictate my future. I choose the path of obedience, no matter the cost. This is not a small act. It's prophetic. It's heaven's way of witnessing your decision. Angels record your yes. Demons retreat at your yes. Heaven rejoices at your yes. That's how powerful your choice truly is. Chosen one. This is the weight of the crossroads, but it's also the beauty of it. Because every time you choose obedience, you are proving that light still wins. You are declaring that your destiny matters more than your doubts. So, hear this clearly, don't delay. Don't wait for another confirmation. The whisper has already spoken. Heaven is waiting. Choose life. Every tear you have cried has spoken a language heaven understands. Not one drop has fallen unnoticed. You may think your suffering was silence, but it was actually a conversation, an exchange between your pain and God's promise. Each heartbreak, each lonely night, each unanswered prayer was not rejection, it was refinement. You were not being punished, you were being prepared. Chosen one. Heaven does not waste pain. The moments that broke you were never meant to end you. They were meant to birth something within you. You have walked through valleys others could not survive. You have endured storms that should have destroyed you. Yet here you are, still breathing, still believing, still standing. That is not weakness. That is proof that purpose was hidden even in your pain. The hardest seasons were the ones where heaven was most silent. You prayed, and nothing seemed to change. You fasted, and the answer still didn't come. You wondered if God forgot about you. But silence is not absence, it's strategy. Sometimes heaven withdraws its visible hand so that faith can grow roots beneath the soil. Look back for a moment. Every unanswered prayer eventually led you somewhere necessary. Every door that shut redirected your path to something better. You couldn't see it then because pain blinds perspective. But heaven was moving in every delay, rearranging pieces you didn't even know existed. The writings of David in Psalm, chapter 126, verse 5, remind us, those who sow with tears will reap with songs of joy. That is not poetic comfort. It is a spiritual law. Your tears were never wasted, they were seeds. And those seeds are about to produce something so beautiful that your past pain will become your present testimony. You may not have realized it, but you have been in a divine planting season. The ground looked empty, but heaven was at work beneath it. The pressure you felt was not punishment, it was soil being moved. Destiny being buried deep until the time was right. And now, that seed is about to rise. Do you remember the moments when you almost gave up? When you questioned whether your faith even mattered? Those were the moments heaven watched closest. You didn't realize that every time you chose to believe anyway, you were shaping the strength that would carry you into this season. Endurance is not learned through blessing, it's learned through breaking. There is something sacred about those who cry and still worship. Something powerful about those who pray when they have no words left. You are one of them. You have been forged in fire, purified by tears, and shaped in silence. That's why you're dangerous to darkness, because you learned how to keep glowing even when no one saw your light. You have felt misunderstood, haven't you? People saw your strength, but not your struggle. They praised your resilience, but never asked about the cost. Yet, the truth is, God hid your breaking because He didn't want anyone to interfere with your becoming. Some pains had to stay private so that glory could grow in secret. The enemy hoped that the pain would make you bitter, but instead, it made you wiser. It deepened your compassion, sharpened your discernment, and taught you to depend on God instead of people. You learned that peace is not found in understanding, it's found in trusting even when you don't understand. Every tear was a testimony written in advance. Heaven was collecting them, storing them, and turning them into the oil that now rests on your life. That oil, the anointing that flows from endurance, cannot be bought or copied. It comes only through experience. That is why your story is sacred. Now, look at yourself through heaven's eyes. You are not the broken one you used to be. You are the healed one, the wiser one, the refined one, The pain that once made you question your purpose has now revealed it. The nights that seemed endless were the very nights heaven was shaping your destiny. And, though you did not see it, angels stood by your bedside during those nights of despair. They whispered strength into your soul while you slept. They marked your tears as sacred offerings, carrying them before the throne of grace. Heaven remembers every one of them. The time has come, chosen one, for joy to answer where pain once spoke. You may not feel it yet, but joy is coming not as a fleeting emotion, but as a permanent posture. The kind of joy that does not depend on circumstance, because it is built on revelation. You will see why it had to happen the way it did. You will understand why certain people left, why certain doors shut, and why certain prayers took years to manifest. You will look back and whisper, "It was worth it," because every tear became the foundation of your testimony, and every loss made room for a greater glory. You have not wasted time, you have been woven into divine timing. And soon, your reaping will silence every question your sowing ever raised. There are moments when heaven leans close and speaks your name, not as the world knows it, but as eternity has always known it. Chosen one. This is that moment. You have walked through fire, through silence, through seasons of confusion. But the truth remains, heaven knows your name, not just your face or your story, your essence, your spirit, your divine identity written before time began. When you were born, heaven didn't just release a person, it released a purpose. Every heartbeat since has been heaven's reminder that you are still on assignment. The world may have overlooked you, but heaven never did. There were angels who whispered your name while you slept, calling forth the destiny that slumbered inside you. You might have forgotten who you are for a while. Pain has a way of making you forget, but heaven never stopped calling you. Even in your wandering, your name echoed in the halls of eternity. God never stopped pursuing you, because his covenant with you was written in something stronger than circumstance. It was written in his own blood. We are reminded through the writings of the prophet in Isaiah, chapter 43, verse 1, "Fear not, for I have redeemed you. I have called you by name. You are mine." Those words are not history. They are happening now. Heaven is calling your name again, summoning you to rise, to remember, to reclaim what was always yours. Think of a shepherd walking through fog, calling for his sheep. The sound of his voice cuts through distance, confusion, and fear. The sheep do not respond to any other sound because they know the tone that holds safety. That is what is happening now. The voice calling your name carries peace that nothing else can imitate. You are not lost, you are being located. Heaven's navigation has found you again. The signal never failed. You simply moved out of range. But mercy is the map that never stops rerouting. And, right now, heaven is saying, "Come home. You are still mine." You've carried labels given by pain unworthy. Too late. Not enough. But God erases those with one word, redeemed. He doesn't see what people said. He sees what he designed. Your identity is not defined by what you've done, but by what he declared. You are not the broken vessel you once were. You are the chosen instrument being tuned for divine melody. Let this sink deep. Your name in heaven carries authority. When it is spoken in the spirit realm, light responds, angels move, the atmosphere shifts, because your name is tied to a mission. You are not here by accident, you are here by appointment. Perhaps life made you feel invisible. But invisibility does not equal insignificance. Even seeds are unseen before they sprout. Hidden seasons are not punishment, they are protection. Heaven often hides what is holy until the time of revealing. You were hidden so that imitation could not touch you, and contamination could not reach you. And now, heaven calls again, not to remind you of your pain, but to awaken your promise. God is saying, I've been here all along, waiting for you to remember. Every moment you thought you were forgotten was actually heaven watching over you in silence. Beloved, this is your reminder that you are not alone. There are others like you, scattered lights across the earth, answering the same call, hearing the same whisper. Together, you are forming the constellation heaven calls the redeemed. Each light, once dimmed by pain, now burns with purpose. If this word finds you, it's not just for inspiration, it's for activation. Let it stir something inside that says, I'm ready to be known again. Let it breathe courage back into your heart. And as this moment touches you, I want to ask something from the heart. Just as a flame spreads when another candle is lit, this message only grows when it's shared. If these words have reminded you of who you are, help carry this light to another wandering soul. Like this message so others may see it. Share it so heaven's call can reach someone who needs to hear their name again. Subscribe so you stay close to the flow of divine reminders waiting for you. And if you feel led, consider donating not as a transaction, but as a seed. Every offering becomes a ripple that allows this light to travel further, to touch hearts that are still trapped in darkness. When you give, you are not funding words, you are fueling healing. You become part of heaven's echo that says, you are not forgotten. Think of it as watering a tree whose fruit feeds souls across the world. You may never meet those who are nourished by it, but heaven records every seed. What leaves your hand never leaves your future. Chosen one, your name is still being spoken in heaven's courts. This is not your ending, it's your awakening. The shepherd is calling. The echo of eternity carries your name, and grace waits with open arms. So breathe, listen, and remember who you are. You were never lost. You were only being found again. Chosen one. You have walked long enough on the edge of obedience. You've come close, almost surrendering, almost stepping fully into the calling, but something always pulled you back. Heaven has seen every hesitation, every almost. Every time you said, maybe tomorrow. But the truth is, tomorrow has arrived. Heaven's patience is mercy. But mercy still has rhythm, and right now, it is calling your name once again. There is a difference between being near obedience and being in obedience. Near obedience feels safe. It allows you to feel spiritual without truly changing. But real obedience, oh, beloved, it costs you. It strips you of control. It asks for the very thing your flesh clings to most. And that is why so many stay in the almost. It feels holy enough to soothe the conscience, yet distant enough to avoid transformation. But partial surrender is still rebellion. It's like standing at the doorway of destiny but refusing to walk through because you're afraid of what's on the other side. You can't dip your toes into purpose and expect to swim in anointing. Heaven doesn't anoint hesitation. It anoints commitment. The prophet Samuel spoke these words that echo through generations. Written in 1 Samuel Chapter 15, verse 22, to obey is better than sacrifice, and to heed is better than the fat of rams. That verse shatters every illusion that we can please God with activity while avoiding obedience. Heaven doesn't want your rituals, it wants your response. You've prayed, God, use me. But when He tries to, you say, not like that. You want the blessing without the breaking, the platform without the process. Yet, the truth is simple. There is no crown without a cross. The very thing you've been avoiding is the key to the door you've been asking Him to open. Obedience is the language of trust. It's not about understanding every step. It's about saying, yes, even when it doesn't make sense. Sometimes, obedience looks like walking away from what once felt safe. Sometimes, it means staying silent when everything in you wants to defend yourself. And sometimes, it means letting go of something you love so that heaven can give you what you were truly made for. Every time you obey, you declare that you trust His wisdom more than your comfort. Every time you delay, you declare that your fear speaks louder than your faith. This is not condemnation, it's awakening. Heaven is not angry with you, it's inviting you higher. God doesn't call you to obey because He wants to limit you. He calls you to obey because He wants to free you. You are standing at the threshold again. The same pattern that has kept you circling the same mountains is here once more, offering the illusion of safety. But heaven whispers, break the cycle. Don't let fear disguise itself as wisdom. Don't let convenience replace conviction. This is your moment to choose differently. Chosen one. Obedience will cost you something. Yes, but disobedience will cost you everything. The enemy is not afraid of believers who talk about faith. He trembles at believers who act on it, because obedience creates movement in the spiritual realm. When you obey, chains break. When you obey, doors open. When you obey, destinies align. And here's the truth that heaven wants you to understand: the delay of your destiny has not been caused by others, it has been caused by hesitation. But grace is still extended. This word reaches you now not as condemnation, but as invitation. Heaven is giving you one more chance to cross the line from almost to all in. There will never be a perfect moment to obey. Waiting until you feel ready is just another form of avoidance. Readiness is not a feeling, it's a decision. You decide to trust. You decide to move. You decide to obey. And when you do, everything changes. Think of Peter stepping out of the boat. The storm didn't stop before he walked in the middle of it. The miracle didn't happen after safety returned. It happened after surrender began. You don't need calm waters to obey, you just need courage. Heaven has been waiting for this moment. The angels have paused, holding their breath for your yes. The next chapter of your life is not waiting on divine timing, it's waiting on your obedience. So right now, if this word resonates deep within your spirit, if you know that you've been standing on the edge for too long, I want you to declare it in faith. In the comments below, write this prophetic number 444. 444, heaven's reminder of divine alignment and restoration. It is the sound of order returning to your life, of obedience, opening doors that fear once locked. When you type that number, do it as an act of surrender. You're not just pressing keys, you're pressing into destiny. You're saying, I will no longer delay. I choose obedience. This is the moment that separates yesterday's hesitation from tomorrow's victory. The heavens are open. the invitation still stands. Step through. Inside you, a war has been raging silent to others, but thunderous within. It is the battle between the old self and the new, between surrender and control, between spirit and flesh. You smile on the outside, yet inside, two kingdoms wrestle for the right to define your destiny. Chosen one. This is not imagination, it is warfare. You are not losing your mind, you are awakening to the truth that you have always been a battlefield. Heaven intends to win. You have felt the pull of both worlds. One whispers comfort, stay the same. Stay safe. Stay silent. The other calls from within the flame, rise. Risk. Trust. You stand at the line where eternity meets humanity, where divine purpose confronts human fear. And though it feels exhausting, it is holy. Heaven fights hardest for those carrying something priceless. You must understand your struggle does not disqualify you. It identifies you. The presence of warfare is proof of worth. Hell doesn't waste energy attacking the ordinary. It only targets the ones marked for impact. That's why the attacks intensified when you decided to change. The moment you said, I want to follow God fully, the storm found your address. But hear this, storms don't come to drown the chosen, they come to reveal the anchor. And your anchor is not in your strength, it's in your surrender. Every battle you face inside is heaven's invitation to lean deeper into grace. For the Spirit spoke through the Apostle in Galatians, chapter 5, verse 17, for the flesh desires what is contrary to the Spirit, and the Spirit what is contrary to the flesh. They are in conflict with each other. These words explain what you've been feeling all along, the inner division, the fatigue, the tension between who you were and who you're becoming. But this conflict is not a curse. It is confirmation that transformation has begun. When you start to walk in light, darkness doesn't simply step aside. It resists. It whispers, you haven't changed. Every time you stumble, it reminds you of your past to distract you from your progress. But remember, falling is not failing. Growth is never graceful. Every stumble toward obedience still counts as movement in heaven's direction. There are days when you'll feel the weight of both natures inside you, one wanting to pray, the other wanting to give up, one wanting to forgive, the other craving revenge, one whispering, trust, the other screaming, protect yourself. But in those moments, remember, whichever voice you feed becomes stronger. Feed your faith, and fear starves. Feed your purpose, and doubt loses power. You are not broken for feeling both light and darkness wrestle within you. You are being refined. The clash you feel is the sound of chains breaking. It is the noise of heaven reclaiming territory within you. That tension is proof that you have not surrendered to sin, you are resisting it. Resistance is evidence of rebirth. The enemy would prefer you numb yourself to stop caring. Stop trying. Stop believing. Because a numb believer is easier to control than a burning one. But the fact that you still feel this war means the Spirit still breathes in you. You have not gone too far. You have not lost your light. You are simply in the process of learning how to carry it. You are being trained for clarity in the chaos. A warrior is never formed in peace. They are shaped by battle. The inner fight is God's way of building spiritual muscle. He is teaching you to hear His voice amid noise, to walk by faith amid confusion, to remain grounded when the world shakes. And yes, Sometimes the war feels unfair. You wonder why others seem to walk easily while you wrestle daily. But their silence does not mean absence of struggle. It often means avoidance of growth. You were never meant for ease. You were meant for excellence. The anointing on your life demands refinement, and refinement demands resistance. Do not despise this process. Every inner battle you win changes your external world. Every thought you take captive becomes a doorway for peace. Every temptation you resist strengthens your authority. You are not fighting for victory, you are fighting from it. The cross already declared your outcome. So, breathe. The war within does not mean you're failing, it means you're alive. It means heaven has not given up on you. It means God is still shaping something inside you that hell fears. One day, the storm inside will calm, not because it vanished, but because you learned how to walk through it with peace. And when that day comes, you'll understand why the battle had to be internal before it could ever be external. Victory always begins in the unseen. So stand firm. Beloved, let the flesh rage and the spirit rise. The war within is temporary, but what it produces is eternal. There are moments when the voice you once tried to forget returns not as an echo of guilt, but as a whisper of grace. Chosen one, that voice is here again. It's soft, but it carries eternity inside it. You know the sound. It has followed you through the noise of your days and the silence of your nights. It's the same voice that called you when you were young, the same one that comforted you when no one else understood. You tried to silence it once. You ran from it, covered it with busyness, drowned it in distractions, but it never truly left. Because the voice of God doesn't fade with time, it waits with patience. And when the time comes for you to rise again, it returns not to remind you of your failure, but to remind you of your purpose. There's a tenderness in the way God speaks, isn't there? He doesn't force himself into your chaos. He waits at the edge of your heart, knocking quietly, letting love do what pressure never could. He doesn't speak to embarrass, he speaks to awaken. He doesn't shout over the noise. He waits for the moment when your soul grows tired of silence and begins to listen again. Maybe you hear it now. That still, small voice. It doesn't sound like thunder. It doesn't sound like condemnation. It sounds like coming home. It says, I still love you. It says, you haven't gone too far. It says, this time, don't just hear me, follow me. The Spirit reminds us in Hebrews, chapter 3, verse 15, today, if you hear his voice, do not harden your hearts. That verse is not about fear, it's about opportunity. It is heaven's gentle reminder that hearing is a gift, and responding is worship. You don't need to fix everything before you listen. You just need to stop resisting the one who's calling. You see, the voice of God doesn't return because you're perfect. It returns because he's persistent. His mercy is not exhausted by your hesitation. It keeps searching through the ruins of your regret until it finds you again. You may think you're disqualified, but heaven still sees potential. God doesn't speak to those he's done with. He speaks to those he's still working through. And he's still speaking to you. Perhaps you've mistaken conviction for condemnation. Conviction invites you home. Condemnation tells you you're not worthy to return. One is truth wrapped in love. The other is a lie dressed in shame. But God's voice is never shaming, it's shaping. It does not crush. It corrects. It leads you away from destruction, not by fear, but by remembrance. you belong to me. The voice of God is unlike any other. It calls you by your future, not your failure. It doesn't repeat what the world says. It reintroduces you to what heaven wrote. Every time you hear it, something inside you begins to align again. Hope flickers. Strength returns. It's like recognizing a melody you've always known but forgot how to sing. Sometimes, his voice sounds like peace in the middle of panic. Sometimes it sounds like a scripture that suddenly breathes life again. Sometimes it's a quiet conviction that stops you mid-sentence, reminding you that there's still time to choose right. And sometimes it's simply silence where he says nothing, yet his presence says everything. You've ignored it before. You told yourself it was imagination, or guilt, or just coincidence. But deep down, you know it wasn't. The same voice that warned you not to take that path. The same one that whispered strength when you wanted to quit. That was him. That still is him. Do you realize what a miracle that is? That the creator of galaxies still chooses to speak to you, not through fear, but through familiarity. His voice doesn't sound foreign because it's the same one that breathed life into your lungs. It's the sound your soul was designed to recognize. He's not calling you back to religion, he's calling you back to relationship. The goal was never perfection, it was connection. He doesn't need you polished, he needs you present. You don't have to shout, you just have to answer. The voice you tried to forget hasn't come to judge, it has come to restore. It comes like dawn breaking after a long night. Subtle but unstoppable. You may not know what the next step is, but you know the direction. It's the pull toward light, the longing for peace, the gentle conviction that says, this time, don't run. Chosen one. The voice that found you before can find you again. It never left. It simply waited for you to grow tired of the noise. And now that you have, heaven speaks once more. Do not harden your heart this time. The same voice that spoke the world into being is speaking to your spirit again. And when you finally answer, everything, your direction, your peace, your purpose will begin to realign. This is not a haunting, it's a healing. The voice you tried to forget is the same voice that will lead you home. There are moments in life when mercy does not whisper, it knocks. You can almost hear it now. That gentle pounding on the door of your heart. It's not loud, but it's steady. Heaven doesn't break in, it waits for invitation. The handle is on your side. Chosen one. This is one of those sacred moments. Mercy stands at your threshold. Patient but urgent. The door isn't closed yet, but the hinges are starting to creak under the weight of delay. You've heard the knocking before. Every time you felt conviction stir, every time you sensed God drawing near, that was mercy at your door. You promised to open when things calmed down, when life got easier, when you felt ready. But readiness never comes, mercy just keeps knocking, waiting for your surrender to answer. It is written in Revelation, chapter 3, verse 20, Behold, I stand at the door and knock. If anyone hears my voice and opens the door, I will come in and eat with that person, and they with me. This is not a poetic metaphor, it's divine reality. God doesn't want visitation, He desires habitation. He doesn't want to pass by your life, He wants to dwell in it. Mercy's knock is not a demand, it's an invitation. It's God saying, let me in before you collapse under the weight you were never meant to carry alone. You've been trying to manage storms by yourself, pretending to be strong while secretly breaking. Heaven knows. It's why mercy still knocks. Some people think mercy is soft, but mercy is fierce. It will follow you into places you swore you'd never return to. It will step into your darkest rooms, not to expose you, but to rescue you. Mercy never waits for your perfection. It moves because of your potential. You've made it through things that others didn't survive. Do you know why? Because mercy intervened. There were nights when your choices should have destroyed you, but mercy built a wall around you. There were moments when your anger should have closed heaven's ears, but mercy translated your tears into prayers. Mercy has been covering you long before you ever sought forgiveness. And yet, there comes a time when mercy must be answered. Heaven will not force its way in forever. When you feel that tug on your spirit, the ache that says, "I can't keep living like this," that's your sign. The knocking isn't punishment, it's protection. It's God saying, before this chapter ends, open up. You may be thinking, but I've done too much. I've waited too long. Listen carefully. Mercy doesn't count how many times you close the door. It celebrates every time you choose to open it. The blood of Jesus does not have an expiration date. The invitation is still valid, but not indefinite. Each time you ignore that knock, your heart hardens just a little more. That's why this moment matters. You're not just choosing belief, you're choosing sensitivity. Every time you say, "Not now," the knocking becomes fainter, not because God stops loving you, but because your heart grows numb to the sound. Heaven's greatest tragedy isn't sin, it's silence after too many ignored invitations. Mercy is knocking again right now, louder than before. It carries no anger, only longing. The Father wants to dine with you, to restore the intimacy that distraction has stolen. He doesn't want your perfection, he wants your presence. He's not asking for performance, he's asking for permission. You might ask, how do I open the door? It's simpler than you think. You open it by answering. You open it by saying, "Yes, Lord, come in." You open it by acknowledging that you can't do this without Him. You open it when you stop pretending that you're fine. Heaven doesn't need formality, it needs honesty. The sound you hear in your heart right now, that ache that won't quiet down, that is mercy's rhythm. And mercy always has perfect timing. You are hearing this not because you stumbled upon it, but because heaven aligned this exact moment for you. If this word finds your spirit trembling, that's not fear, it's recognition. Your heart knows that heaven is near. Don't ignore it this time. Don't drown it in noise. Let the knock become your turning point. And when you feel that stirring inside, when you know deep down that it's time, I want you to respond with these 3 simple words, "I open now." Write it below, not as a comment for me, but as a declaration to heaven. Let it be your act of surrender, your spiritual unlocking. When you type "I open now," you're telling heaven, "I hear you. I will not delay. I choose presence over pride." Do not underestimate the power of such a small response. Doors don't open with force, they open with consent. Those words might look small on a screen, but in the spirit, they echo loudly. Angels move, mercy rushes in, peace takes residence. This is mercy's final knock before breakthrough. The handle is still in your hand. All heaven waits for is your yes. Silence can be loud, can't it? It echoes with everything left unsaid, the prayers you never finished, the promises you didn't keep. the obedience you postponed for just a little longer. But heaven hears even what you never spoke aloud. Chosen one. Doing nothing has never been neutral. In the language of eternity, hesitation still counts as a word, and heaven records it. When God calls, silence is not safety, it is surrender to stagnation. The world has taught you that waiting to decide is wisdom, but in heaven's realm, delayed obedience is quiet rebellion. There are moments when the absence of your voice becomes the presence of your choice. Every time you stay still after heaven says move, the spiritual atmosphere takes note. There is a cost to hesitation. It is invisible at first, like slow erosion on a mountain face. But over time, it reshapes destinies. The greatest tragedy is not the loud no to God, it's the whisper of maybe later. For in that whisper, dreams wither and callings drift into shadow. The whisper of later sounds harmless, but it corrodes destiny from within, like rust on metal. It works quietly until strength becomes fragility. You do not notice the loss at first. The colors fade slowly. But heaven sees what delay devours courage, clarity, and the once burning fire of obedience. Every postponed step invites confusion to take root. When you delay, doubt multiplies. The heart begins to forget the tone of God's voice, mistaking comfort for confirmation. Time doesn't heal disobedience, it hardens it. What you refuse to surrender today becomes tomorrow's chain, forged link by link through hesitation. Yet even in that decay, grace still breathes. The same wind that once carried your calling can still rekindle it. One spark of surrender can set the whole field ablaze again. Heaven is not counting your pauses, it's waiting for your movement. One act of obedience can erase years of delay. Scripture reveals this truth in Revelation, chapter 3, verse 16. So then, because you are lukewarm, and neither hot nor cold, I will vomit you out of my mouth. The verse may sound harsh, but it is really heaven pleading, do not linger halfway. Divine fire cannot rest on divided hearts. You felt that lukewarm ache before, haven't you? The place where passion fades into routine. You pray, but it feels mechanical. You believe, but only halfway. You tell yourself you're waiting for a sign, but heaven has already given you one. It's this message. That restlessness in your soul is not confusion, it's conviction. Lukewarmness is not peace, it's paralysis, disguised as balance. You are not meant to stand between altars, half in surrender, half in control. The in-between space robs you of both the joy of sin and the power of holiness. That's why you felt so empty there. Heaven never designed you to live in half-light. But don't let guilt consume you. Let it guide you. This message isn't condemnation, it's correction. God doesn't expose to shame, He exposes to heal. The silence of hesitation can still be broken with one sound, your surrender. Chosen one. Heaven is waiting to move the moment you speak again. Destiny has been pacing the floor outside your door, holding blessings that can't enter without your voice. You have authority to change the spiritual climate of your life. But authority unused becomes potential wasted. It's like a field left untended. The soil is fertile, but the seed remains unplanted. Rain falls, but there's nothing to grow. The clouds move on, the season changes, and the field stays empty. Not because it was barren, but because no one sowed. That's what inaction does it. Silences harvests before they can even begin. Heaven's silence right now is not abandonment, it's waiting, like an orchestra frozen before the first note. Waiting for the conductor's cue, your yes. The music of destiny begins when obedience breaks silence. But as you hear these words, don't let them just inspire you, let them ignite you. You can't change yesterday's hesitation, but you can choose today's surrender. The moment you decide to act, the atmosphere shifts. The heavens record your response, and the ripple begins. If this message stirs you, let it breathe through your actions. When you like this message, it isn't about algorithms, it's about agreement. It's saying, yes, I receive this truth. When you share it, you become a vessel. Someone, somewhere, needs the reminder that silence doesn't have to be the end. You could be the hand that passes heaven's microphone to another fainting soul. And if you subscribe, you're not signing up for content, you're choosing consistency. You're saying, keep speaking. I'm still listening. It's a small act that tells heaven you're committed to staying in tune. Finally, if you feel led to donate, do it not as an obligation but as an echo. Every seed you sow becomes sound. It allows this voice to reach further, to whisper truth into corners you may never step into. Picture your giving as wind beneath wings. The message flies higher, reaching hearts that still live in quiet hesitation. Every gift, no matter the size, says, I refuse to let silence win. Remember this, heaven measures hearts, not amounts. Your donation is not currency, it's covenant. It says, I believe this light must travel. So, as you listen, let conviction soften you, not shame you. Let it remind you that silence can still sing when turned into surrender. You have been quiet long enough. The pause has served its purpose. The next sound heaven wants to hear from you is movement. Speak, act, rise. Let your faith make noise again. And when you do, watch how heaven answers. Chosen one. There are seasons when darkness seems to take everything, your peace, your confidence, your sense of direction, and you wonder if anything sacred could possibly come from the ruin. You've stood in the aftermath of disappointment, staring at the ashes of what once felt divine, asking quietly, why did this have to happen? You are not alone in that question. Every servant of heaven has whispered it at some point. But now, listen closely. What was meant to destroy you has become heaven's raw material for destiny. Every loss was an ingredient. Every betrayal was a chisel. Every unanswered prayer was a redirection written in mercy. You thought God had left you, but He was working in secret, rearranging what you could not see. You weren't being buried, you were being planted. There is a difference. Burial ends life. Planting hides life so it can multiply. The soil was heavy, yes, but heaven called it preparation, not punishment. Look back carefully now. The same moments you once labeled as destruction were actually construction zones. Heaven tore down what could not carry the next season. The delay you cursed became the detour that saved you. You were being rerouted, not rejected. Think of Joseph, betrayed by brothers, forgotten in prison. Yet every injustice carved him into the vessel that would one day feed nations. You too have been carved. Pain was the sculptor's hand, shaping humility where pride once stood. building discernment where naivete once lived. The things that wounded you were actually working for you. Scripture reveals this reversal through the life of Joseph, and it is written in Genesis, chapter 50, verse 20, "What you meant for evil, God meant for good, to bring about the saving of many lives." These words are more than comfort, they are blueprint. They show how heaven turns every shadow into strategy. You see, darkness does not frighten God. He moves easily within it. In fact, His greatest works often begin there. Creation itself started in formless voids. Light was born not in comfort, but in chaos. You were created in His image, therefore. Your light too emerges from darkness. The pressure you feel is not to crush you, it's to reveal the brilliance that only appears under strain. The enemy tried to convince you that your pain disqualified you. But the opposite is true. Pain has qualified you. It's the mark that you've survived the process others avoided. You now carry a depth that cannot be learned in ease. When you speak, heaven echoes through your tone, because your words were forged in fire. And that's what makes you dangerous to the dark. The very thing it used to break you has become your weapon. The tears that once fell from weariness now water your authority. You carry stories that silence lies, because you have lived through what they deny. Every scar you bear is proof that light wins. There are things inside you now, wisdom, compassion, endurance that could not have existed without the nights you hated. You've learned that even when you didn't feel God's presence, His protection never left. The fact that you are still here is evidence enough. The arrow of despair struck you, but it did not kill you. It only embedded itself deep enough for you to understand others who are still bleeding. That is your anointing. You are not defined by the wound. You are defined by the healing that followed. Heaven has been turning every scar into an opening where light escapes. You thought the breaking was your end, but it was your becoming. Broken vessels leak the most light. Chosen one, you are standing in the quiet aftermath of your own resurrection. Everything that once drained you has now equipped you. You have walked through the valley of shadow and discovered that shadow only exists where there is light behind you. What chased you was proof that something radiant was within you. And now, heaven begins to reverse the flow. Where you were once the one searching for encouragement, you will become the encourager. Where you once begged for understanding, you will now carry wisdom others need. The same fire that burned you will soon warm others. That is how God redeems pain, not by erasing the past, but by recycling it into power. You are a walking testimony that survival is sacred. You've endured nights that would have silenced weaker hearts. And though you bear invisible bruises, they have turned into invisible armor. You have authority now, the kind that only comes from living what others merely preach. You have learned that sometimes deliverance doesn't mean escaping the fire. It means learning how to walk in it without burning. That is what has happened to you. You didn't just survive, you transformed. The darkness you once feared now recognizes you. It trembles because it knows you're not the same person it once manipulated. You've seen too much light to ever return to blindness. You have become the reversal. What once was a victim is now a vessel. What once was wounded now heals. So lift your head, beloved. This is not just recovery, it is redemption. The tables have turned. The story has shifted. The power that once oppressed you now obeys you. And heaven smiles, because what was meant for evil has officially become your evidence that God still reigns. You are not just free, you are proof that light can rise from any darkness. Chosen one, in the shadows where you once wept, something holy has been waiting for you, the crown that was hidden in plain sight. It did not vanish, it was veiled until you became strong enough to carry it. Heaven never places a crown on an untested head. The weight of glory is heavy. It requires hands that have known surrender and hearts that have known breaking. You've been walking through trials, not realizing that every hardship was fitting you for the weight of what is coming. Every disappointment, every rejection, every closed door, it all trained you in ways the world couldn't see. When people left, you learned loyalty. When support vanished, you discovered resilience. And when silence stretched long, you learned to trust the unseen hand of God. The crown has always been there, waiting quietly in the shadows, shining in secrecy while your character was being forged. It is not a crown made of gold or jewels, it is a crown of endurance, of faith, of divine authority. When heaven crowns you, it doesn't need applause, it only needs obedience. The ancient letter to the Hebrews, chapter 10, verse 35, reminds us, do not throw away your confidence, it will be richly rewarded. That word confidence isn't arrogance, it's trust in divine timing. It's the quiet assurance that though the process hurt, the promise still stands. You see, faith is not pretending everything is fine, it's believing that what God spoke is still true, even when nothing around you looks like it. The enemy has tried to convince you that your delays were denials, that your waiting was wasted. But he lied. Heaven has not forgotten. The crown was simply being refined while you were being tested. Every hidden season you endured was an investment. Heaven never hides without purpose. Diamonds don't shine until pressure shapes them, and anointing doesn't flow until oil is crushed. You were being refined in secret because the stage of your destiny will require purity of heart. Don't despise your quiet years. They were not punishment, they were preparation. The world saw you as forgotten, but heaven called you preserved. You were like a seed beneath soil, buried, unseen, yet alive with divine potential. And now the time is coming when that seed will break open, revealing what the hidden years were nurturing all along. The crown you're about to wear will not only represent your endurance, it will represent heaven's faithfulness. It will carry stories in its gleam, stories of nights you almost quit but didn't, of tears that watered your calling, of prayers whispered through exhaustion. That crown is not just an ornament, it's evidence that obedience was worth it. And yet, remember this, the purpose of the crown is not for display, it's for responsibility. Heaven does not crown you so you can sit, it crowns you so you can serve. The higher you rise, the lower your heart must bow. Authority without humility becomes corruption, but authority wrapped in surrender becomes legacy. So, when the crown settles upon you, wear it with reverence. It will draw attention, but don't mistake that attention for approval. Many will see the glory and forget the story. They will admire the crown without realizing the cost. But you will know. You will remember the nights that carved it, the prayers that polished it, and the grace that held it in place. Chosen one, this next season is not random, it is reward. You have finished the hidden work. Now heaven will unveil what's been concealed. You won't have to chase recognition. It will find you, because purpose always reveals itself when preparation is complete. There will be those who question why God is blessing you now. But let their confusion be your confirmation. They saw your silence but not your struggle. They witnessed your waiting but not your warfare. Heaven's timing is perfect. It crowns in kairos, not in convenience. You are stepping into the moment that has been written for you since before you were born. Don't shrink back now. You've carried the pain. Now you must carry the promise. Heaven is about to place something on your life that no man can take away. And as this word reaches your spirit, if you feel that something inside you is stirring, if you sense that this is the moment you've been prepared for, respond in faith, not to me, but to heaven. In the comments below, write this prophetic number, 555. 555, heaven's symbol of divine transition, grace multiplied, and favor unfolding. It represents the turning of chapters, the shift from waiting to walking in what was promised. When you type 555, you are saying, I'm ready to wear what I've been prepared for. You're declaring that you will not throw away your confidence. You will not give up before the reward. This act is small in appearance but mighty in meaning. It's your agreement with heaven that you're done hiding from your own potential. That number is not just a symbol, it's a signature of surrender and readiness. You have been prepared in silence, tested in fire, and purified in tears. Now, beloved, rise. The crown that waited in shadows is ready for your head, and heaven's whisper becomes thunder. Well done, faithful one. The waiting was worth it. It begins like fire, subtle at first, then suddenly consuming. Something deep inside you starts to awaken, a spark of divine recognition that you can't quite explain. It feels ancient, familiar, like remembering a song you used to know. Chosen one. This is the fire of recognition, the moment your spirit sees itself as heaven has always seen you. For so long, you've carried fragments of identity, pieces of who you thought you were, scattered by the winds of people's opinions and life's disappointments. You've tried to fit where you didn't belong, tried to shrink so others could stay comfortable, tried to silence what made you different. But no matter how hard you tried to blend in, the fire inside refused to die. You are not meant for the crowd. You are meant for the calling. Recognition is not discovery, it is remembering. You are remembering who you were before pain rewrote your story. You are remembering what God whispered before the world shouted its labels. And when heaven shows you your true reflection, it doesn't look like perfection, it looks like purpose. In the sacred letter of 1 Peter, chapter 2, verse 9, it is written, you are a chosen generation, a royal priesthood, a holy nation, God's special possession, that you may declare the praises of him who called you out of darkness into his marvelous light. These words are your mirror. This is what heaven sees when it looks at you, not your mistakes, but your mission. The fire of recognition burns away the fog of false identity. It reminds you that you were never ordinary, never random, never a mistake. You carry divine DNA. You are a spark from the eternal flame, carrying light that darkness cannot comprehend. That's why certain rooms could never contain you. That's why certain people couldn't stay. You were built for a higher frequency. The discomfort you felt wasn't rejection, it was redirection. You were outgrowing what no longer aligned with your purpose. And that process, though painful, was sacred. The fire is not there to destroy, it's there to define. When gold passes through flame, the impurities rise to the surface and are removed. That's what's happening to you. The doubts, fears, and insecurities that once ruled your heart are being burned away, revealing the strength that was always beneath. You are not being punished. You are being purified. Recognition often comes with revelation. You begin to see why certain battles were necessary. You start to understand that the enemy fought you hardest in the areas that held your greatest potential. Every attack on your confidence, every lie whispered about your worth, it all makes sense now. The devil never fights what he doesn't fear. You were dangerous before you even knew it. That's why the pressure came so early. The fire wasn't random, it was prophetic. Heaven saw what was inside you and began to refine it through the heat of experience. Every challenge became a forge. Every tear became a drop of oil. Every disappointment was a hammer shaping your destiny into divine precision. And now, something within you is shifting. You are starting to see yourself through heaven's eyes. The shame that once haunted you feels foreign. The fear that used to paralyze you has lost its grip. You are beginning to walk differently, not in arrogance, but in awareness. You carry weight now, not of burden, but of glory. The light within you isn't for decoration, it's for illumination. You carry revelation that will guide others out of the shadows you once lived in. That's why the fire is spreading. It's not only transforming you, it's preparing you to transform others. You are a living message. Your story is a sermon written in scars and sealed in faith. You are proof that God still redeems, that light still wins, that grace still pursues. Every time you walk into a room, darkness recognizes what you carry. That's why resistance rises when you appear, because your presence reminds darkness of its expiration date. The fire of recognition doesn't end with awareness, it calls you to action. Once you know who you are, you can no longer pretend you don't. You will begin to speak differently, move differently, pray differently. Heaven is rekindling the roar within you, the boldness that was buried under years of survival. And this, beloved, is not a small spark. It's a torch. It's the beginning of your public rising after a long hidden refining. The same fire that once seemed to burn you is now lighting your path forward. You are not who you used to be. The version of you that doubted, that hid, that settled no longer exists. In its place stands one marked by glory, refined by fire, unafraid of light. Heaven looks at you and sees a flame, a bearer of truth, a carrier of restoration, a reflection of divine power clothed in human skin. You are the reminder that God still ignites hearts and still crowns survivors with radiance. The fire of recognition is here. Let it burn. Let it purify. Let it reveal what the world tried to hide. You are chosen, dangerous, radiant, and finally aware of it. Everything is aligning now. You may not see the full pattern yet, but heaven is arranging the threads of your story into a design that finally makes sense. For so long, your life felt like fragments, random events, unanswered questions, painful pauses, but divine alignment is never chaotic. Heaven works with precision, weaving timing, people, and places into something eternal. Chosen one. The puzzle pieces that once made no sense are beginning to lock together. You are entering a season of alignment, where heaven's order overtakes earthly confusion. What once seemed delayed is now arriving on schedule. The prayers you thought were forgotten are reappearing, not as echoes, but as manifestations. The things that didn't work before are starting to move because now you are ready for them. Heaven never releases what your character cannot yet carry. Every chapter of your life, both the bright and the broken, has been part of a larger rhythm. You thought certain seasons were detours, but they were divine intersections. Even your mistakes, somehow, have become part of heaven's plan. Grace does not erase your past, it repurposes it. The same moments you wished you could erase are now becoming your greatest testimonies. The Apostle wrote in Romans, chapter 8, verse 28, "And we know that all things work together for good to those who love God, to those who are called according to His purpose." You are that called one. That means nothing is wasted, not the heartbreak, not the loneliness, not the waiting. Even what the enemy meant for harm is being folded back into purpose. Divine alignment often begins with disruption. When God wants to realign your life, He shakes what you tried to build on unstable ground. That's why you've experienced endings that didn't make sense at the time. Relationships fell apart. Doors closed. Plans collapsed. But heaven was not punishing you. It was protecting the next phase. God removes what no longer fits where you're going. Imagine a clockmaker adjusting gears inside a timepiece. Each turn, each click, each tension serves a precise purpose, ensuring perfect synchronization. That's what heaven has been doing with your life. Every delay, every closed door, every redirection, it all contributed to your divine timing. The gears are now clicking into place. The divine mechanism is moving again. Sometimes, alignment doesn't look like success at first. It looks like subtraction. Heaven will simplify your surroundings so that your spirit can focus. It will strip away distractions, noise, and people who can't go with you. Don't mourn what's leaving, bless it. It's clearing space for what must arrive. This alignment is not only external, it's internal. Your heart is catching up with your purpose. You are no longer fighting the same battles that once consumed you. The habits that once held you are breaking. The fears that once crippled you are losing power. You are learning to rest where you used to wrestle. That peace you feel is not passivity, it's positioning. You have stopped running from yourself. You have learned to listen to the gentle rhythm of heaven inside your own heartbeat. The confusion that once clouded your vision is lifting because you are finally standing where you were always meant to be. When the soul aligns with its assignment, everything else begins to follow. Alignment doesn't mean perfection, it means flow. You will still face storms. But the difference now is that the wind will carry you, not crush you. What used to feel like chaos will now become confirmation. You'll begin to see divine fingerprints on moments that once looked meaningless. The people entering your life will carry purpose, not distraction. The opportunities appearing now will feel like peace, not pressure. You may find yourself reconnecting with things that once felt distant, old dreams, forgotten passions, even prayers you gave up on. That's not regression, it's restoration. Heaven is returning you to the blueprint. The version of you emerging now remembers who you were before fear rewrote your plans. You are returning to your original alignment, the frequency of heaven's intention for your life. Chosen one. Alignment is not always loud. Sometimes it comes quietly through a new sense of clarity, through the right conversation, through the peace that follows obedience. It's heaven's way of saying, You're in position. So breathe. You don't have to chase this next chapter. It is already chasing you. You don't have to force what's flowing. When the will of heaven meets your willingness, acceleration begins naturally. You are stepping into divine rhythm now, the effortless movement that comes after years of resistance. The alignment of the heavens has begun, and you are part of it. Everything that felt delayed was waiting for this precise second in eternity. The gears of purpose have turned, and suddenly, what once resisted, you will now recognize you. The door you knocked on before will open before you even touch it. Heaven's clock strikes in perfect rhythm, and your name is written on this moment. You are aligned. You are in sync. And the story, finally, begins to unfold exactly as it was meant to. Somewhere across the earth, others like you are awakening. The rising of the marked ones has begun. You can feel it, an invisible current pulling hearts from every direction, uniting those who once walked alone. These are not ordinary souls. They are the hidden ones, the silent intercessors, the warriors who carry unseen crowns. And now, heaven is gathering them. You are not the only one who has felt different your whole life. You are not the only one who wondered why peace never fit inside shallow places. The reason is simple. You were never designed to survive in cages built for the common. You were crafted for calling, molded for movement, shaped to shift atmospheres. The marked ones rise quietly at first. You see it in their eyes, the light that refuses to dim, the mercy that doesn't make sense. They are ordinary people with extraordinary fire. They have walked through the same heartbreaks as everyone else. But instead of hardening, they've softened. Instead of becoming bitter, they've become broken enough for light to shine through. The words of Revelation, chapter 12, verse 11 remind us, they overcame him by the blood of the Lamb and by the word of their testimony. This is the anthem of the rising generation, the ones who do not boast of perfection, but of redemption. Their power is not in what they avoided, but in what they overcame. Chosen one, you are part of that rising. You are not an observer of revival, you are the evidence of it. The pain you survived was not for nothing. The stories you carry are not for silence. The oil on your life was pressed out through seasons that tried to crush you. And now, heaven is saying, rise. The world needs the sound of your survival. You may think your voice is small, but even a whisper can move mountains when heaven breathes through it. The marked ones are not loud because of volume, they are loud because of truth. When they speak, shackles break. When they pray, storms still. When they walk, the atmosphere bends to obedience. Look around you, there's a stirring happening. It's not political. It's not about status. It's spiritual. Heaven is awakening hearts across nations, reminding them of identity and assignment. You can sense it when you pray. You can feel it when you worship. Something ancient is waking up in the collective soul of God's people. It feels like wind moving through dry bones, like embers rekindling after years of dormancy. This is the generation that refuses to bow to fear. They will not be silenced by culture or crushed by compromise. They move differently because they remember differently. They remember what it cost heaven to call them. And now, as these words reach you, you are being summoned to, not to perform, but to participate. The movement of the marked ones needs every light, every sound, every story. When you show up, heaven gains ground. So, Let this message do more than inspire you. Let it connect you. You are not a spectator. You are a spark in the wildfire of awakening. If this word finds you, and something inside whispers, "Yes, this is me," then don't let it stop there. Let it ripple. Like this message so others can find it in the flood of noise. Share it like a torch passed from hand to hand, because someone somewhere is still sitting in their night, waiting for a sign that light is near. When you subscribe, you are joining the circle of the awakened. You are saying, keep the flame burning, keep the messages flowing. It's not just a button, it's a covenant of continuation. The same way flames multiply when touched, your engagement keeps this fire alive. And if your heart feels stirred, consider sowing into this movement. Donate not as an obligation, but as a declaration. Giving is not losing, it's planting. Every contribution is like water poured over smoldering ashes. It helps new flames rise. What leaves your hand enters heaven's cycle of multiplication. The reach of this message, the comfort it brings, the healing it carries, all of it expands through your seed. Think of it as sending a lantern into a dark forest. You may never see who finds it, but heaven will record that you lit the way. Lastly, I invite you, comment below. Leave your reflection, your amen, your testimony. Your words matter. When you write them, they don't just stay on a screen, they echo in hearts that need courage to keep believing. Someone will scroll through, see your comment, and find strength in your faith. You are part of something larger than yourself, now a divine uprising of light bearers. The marked ones are not waiting for permission anymore. They are rising from pain into purpose, from fear into fire, from survival into significance. And you, beloved, are one of them. You always were. After the fire, there comes a silence unlike any other. It's not the quiet of absence, but the calm of completion. You can feel it. Chosen one, the shift inside, the subtle stillness that tells you the war within has ended. This is the silence after surrender, the moment heaven whispers, "It is done." You spent so long fighting battles that were never meant to be yours. You tried to control outcomes, to heal yourself, to make sense of what only God could explain. But somewhere along the way, you laid it down, not in defeat, but in faith. That was the turning point. That was the surrender heaven had been waiting for. Now the battlefield of your heart is quiet. The dust is settling, and for the first time in a long time, peace feels like home. It doesn't shout. It doesn't demand. It simply rests upon you like sunlight after rain. Peace has a sound, and you are hearing it now. It's the sound of burdens breaking, of old fears losing their voice. It's the sound of heaven's order returning to your spirit. You don't have to force it. It flows naturally when resistance dies. The words of John, chapter 14, verse 27. Capture this perfectly. Peace I leave with you, my peace I give you. I do not give to you as the world gives. Do not let your hearts be troubled, and do not be afraid. This is not just a promise, it's a transfer. The same peace that kept Jesus calm in storms is now residing in you. It's strange, isn't it? After years of constant motion, this stillness feels foreign. You almost question it, wondering if it's real. But it is. The chaos isn't missing because life became perfect. It's missing because your soul finally trusts the one steering the ship. You have moved from striving to sailing carried, not controlling. This peace is not fragile. It isn't easily disturbed. It has been forged through nights of wrestling and mornings of surrender. It has depth, like a well that will never run dry. It doesn't depend on people, money, or outcomes. It is anchored in something eternal. Surrender has redefined you. You used to think surrender meant loss, but now you understand its liberation. It's the moment the weight falls away and you realize you were never meant to carry what you tried to control. You have learned that giving up to God is not giving in to defeat. It's allowing victory to take its rightful place. Every chain you once wore was built by fear, but every key was always in your hand. The moment you opened your palms and said, "I trust you," heaven responded. And now, where there was heaviness, there is lightness. Where there was confusion, there is clarity. You are not the same person who began this journey. The fire refined you, the storms trained you, and the silence is now healing you. This stillness is not emptiness, it's evidence that your spirit has learned to rest. You no longer need to explain or defend. You don't have to prove anything. Your peace has become your testimony. This silence carries its own strength. It's not the absence of voice, it's the presence of knowing. You don't need to announce your transformation. The atmosphere around you already feels it. When true peace enters a soul, it radiates without sound. Heaven delights in this kind of stillness because it's the sign of completion. The assignment that once demanded all your energy is shifting. You have graduated from striving into serenity. You have proven faithful through storms. Now you are entrusted with peace. And with this peace comes discernment. You begin to sense what is worth your response and what no longer deserves your attention. You stop fighting every rumor, every shadow, every opinion, not because you don't care, but because you finally know that your worth is not up for debate. Peace is maturity clothed in quiet. It's the moment you realize not every battle requires your sword, some only require your stillness. That is what you've learned. You have discovered that silence can be stronger than shouting. In this sacred calm, you start hearing God more clearly. His voice is no longer drowned out by worry. It moves gently through your thoughts, guiding you, comforting you, and confirming that you are exactly where you're meant to be. The silence after surrender is not an ending, it's the prelude to expansion. Heaven always breathes before it speaks. And right now, heaven is breathing over you. This is the pause before purpose multiplies. The soil of your heart has rested long enough. New seeds are being planted in peace. So stay still. Beloved, don't rush out of this moment. You are standing in sacred quiet, the kind that rebuilds, restores, and renews. Everything you lost in chaos is being returned in clarity. The silence after surrender is the sound of heaven saying, "You've made it through." There are moments in time that echo beyond the limits of sound, moments when heaven pauses, not to speak, but to listen. This is one of those moments. You have reached the threshold where eternity bends near, waiting to hear the echo of your yes. Every choice, every act of faith, every step of obedience has brought you here. The journey has been long. But now heaven whispers, this is where your story changes tone forever. When God spoke creation into existence, his words rippled through galaxies and still vibrate in the fabric of reality. In the same way, When you say yes to His calling, your voice joins that divine resonance. Your decision is not a whisper in the wind, it's a declaration that shifts realms. The eternal echo of your yes resounds through generations unseen, awakening promises that were waiting for your agreement. You may not feel powerful, but heaven disagrees. One obedient heart carries more authority than 1,000 unwilling voices. When you surrender, you become a conduit through which divine intention flows. God does not need perfection to move, He needs permission. And now, your spirit has given it. This yes is not just a sound, it's an alignment. It brings heaven and earth into harmony. It releases what was locked, restores what was lost, and reveals what was hidden. You are standing in a sacred collision between divine purpose and human will. This is where ordinary fades and destiny begins. Think of Abraham stepping out of his homeland, Moses lifting his staff over the sea, Mary saying, "Be it unto me according to your word." None of them saw the full picture when they answered the call. Yet their obedience echoed through centuries. They didn't just live, they activated legacies. Your obedience carries that same power. Your yes is more than acceptance, it's agreement with eternity. Heaven delights in these echoes because they mark the moments when faith triumphs over fear. When you said, yes, truly, yes, chains that had existed for generations began to loosen. Patterns that haunted your family line started breaking. The unseen realm shifted because light responded to your decision. You may not feel the tremor, but heaven recorded it. The apostle wrote in 2 Timothy, chapter 4, verse 7, "I have fought the good fight. I have finished the race. I have kept the faith." This verse is not only a reflection of completion, but also a declaration of inheritance. You are stepping into that same lineage, the line of those who finished well, who refused to let weariness rob them of their witness. Your yes secures that legacy. You are no longer standing where you once stood. The season of struggle was not wasted, it sculpted your endurance. Every delay refined your discernment. Every unanswered question prepared your voice to speak with authority. Now, heaven can trust you with influence because you have proven faithful in obscurity. You are no longer the one searching for light. You are becoming the light others will follow. The echo of your yes does not fade, it multiplies. Every act of obedience becomes a seed in the soil of eternity. When you forgive, heaven records it. When you love without return, heaven amplifies it. When you stand firm despite fear, heaven celebrates it. The ripple expands far beyond your reach, touching lives you may never meet. That is how divine legacy is built, not through fame, but through faithfulness. This echo also transforms your surroundings. The atmosphere around a surrendered soul becomes charged with peace. Places that once carried heaviness will begin to feel lighter because you carry heaven's vibration now. You are not the echo of pain anymore, you are the echo of purpose. And there is beauty in that. Every scar on your spirit now glows with the light of redemption. Every tear once shed in despair has been transmuted into oil for your anointing. You are not carrying the sound of suffering anymore, you are carrying the sound of survival, the melody of victory. Heaven will continue to replay your yes. It will sound in moments when doubt tries to return. It will remind you that you've already crossed the line, that you've already chosen whom you belong to. The echo of obedience will be your anchor in every storm. When confusion comes, listen beneath it. Your spirit will still whisper, I said yes. This is how eternity writes your name into history, not through titles or applause, but through surrender. Heaven doesn't celebrate achievement, it celebrates agreement. Your voice joined the symphony of saints who said yes when it was hardest, who trusted when it made no sense, who stayed faithful when silence stretched too long. You are one of them now, chosen one. The world may never fully understand what your obedience cost, but heaven does. The eternal echo of your yes resounds even now, filling the spaces where fear once lived, sanctifying the ground beneath your feet, rewriting your story into victory. And when generations after you walk paths of purpose, unaware of who cleared the way, heaven will remember. Heaven will say, "It began with their yes." Your journey has not been easy, but it has been holy. You have fought, you have endured, and now you have become the sound of surrender. The echo continues unending, undiminished, unstoppable. This is your legacy. This is your crown. This is your eternal echo. Beloved chosen one, if you've reached this point, heaven itself bears witness you stayed, you listened, you received. Every word was a whisper from eternity, and every pause was a doorway to revelation. What began as a message has now become a memory written into your spirit. You are not leaving empty, you are leaving marked. The words you've heard are no longer just sound, they are seed. Let them grow. Let them guide. Let them remind you on the days when silence tries to make you doubt what you already know. You were never ordinary. You are chosen, crowned, and called for such a time as this. Before you close this message, take a moment of stillness. Breathe. Feel that calm in your chest. That's peace confirming you are aligned. You've journeyed through the fire, through the whisper, through the weight, and now you stand at the edge of beginning again. This isn't the end, it's the echo of a new start. If this message has spoken to your heart, like it not for vanity, but as an act of agreement, it's your way of saying, I receive this. Share it so another wandering soul might find their reminder too. There's always someone scrolling through the noise, searching for a sentence that saves them. Comment your reflection below. Write what part of this journey reached you most. Your words could become the next spark that reignites someone else's faith. And if you haven't already, subscribe to stay connected to this unfolding movement of light and truth. Each connection strengthens the circle of awakening. Heaven has finished speaking, but the echo continues in you. Carry it well. Beloved, speak gently, shine boldly, and remember, you are the sound of divine purpose in motion.